Liam, very little to talk about in the transfer front. No, lots to talk about really. We can go through each player individually, but I think we'll maybe just talk about this week in general first. And a difficult week for the club with losing 4 players. How's it been behind the scenes?
I have to say that, and I know I've commented it numerous times, we have a terrific group here. The lads, in terms of coming in, not being distracted by it, head down work, keeping the spirit that they have, the togetherness which you see last week at Pompey. I think that sums up the group, because it's disrupted certain things. It inevitably and naturally, it causes a lot of noise and elements of disruption. But the guys just crack on with it. To be fair, and I think I can't speak highly enough of how they've just got their heads down and worked and putting their energy into the game tomorrow.
Matt O'Reilly's obviously moved on and gone to Celtic. I suppose a move that he and maybe the club couldn't turn down.
Yeah, look, I think it's obviously difficult, right? You get the emotional side, and when you're talking around the impact Matt's had in the first half of the season since we've been here, and like the goal return, the assist, the impact he's had on games has been great for us. But I think if you look at it, it's also something the club, the players, the fans, the staff should be proud of. That we're moving a player to a huge club like Celtic, and people upon joining here, people still obviously talk about Delhi and how he started here, and I think that's something that we as a club should be proud of. That Matt ultimately made his breakthrough here into the senior game, because I'm sure he'll go on to do well, Matt, in his career. I can't speak highly enough of him as a character. But like I say, it's that difficult one, right? The rawness, the emotional, in the short term of the impact it has on us now. But ultimately, I think what it allows us to do is go right, who's next, and look to strengthen the squad.
And the other 3 players, obviously recalled by their club and then kind of moving on. Peter Kyoso's gone back to Luton, and I actually watched him play on Wednesday against Reading, and he put in a very Peter Kyoso performance, and presumably he's wanting now to stay at Luton and fight for his place.
Yeah, I think it's one of them. You saw Peter's emotion after the game at Portsmouth last week. I think him being an MK lad as well, he has got that emotional attachment, and he's done really well for us this season. So we're keeping the door open for a short period of time on that one to see if the situation does change. But it does get to a point where we will have to move forward, and I think that's where huge credit to Liam Sweeting in terms of we have a list, we're ready to move when we need to. But I think it's a case of actually he was such a big thing for us culturally and on the pitch as well, that I think it's about making sure that we don't rush into anything, because it leaves us short. It's difficult in the next 2 games, I think, but ultimately, we still have another 18 after that. So we don't want to rush and get people for the sake of it. We want to make sure that people that we do bring in are ready to impact for the next 20 games, not just the next 2.
And Ethan Robson, a player who really started to build head of steam with his performances. He's quite a slow starter actually, MK Dons, I felt, but really started to be an important player. And I think the fans are hugely disappointed. There's a lot of talk, can we get Ethan Robson back? Can he be signed as an MK Dons player? Is there anything happening on that front?
Yeah, I think I think you summed it up quite well. I thought Ethan had he had a fairly decent start. I think back to the Ipswich game, I thought he was terrific there when we played him away earlier in the year, and we went on obviously that decent run. Him and Matt together, to be fair, I thought were quite pivotal in that. And he obviously then had a period out with his injuries, and then being on the bench for a bit because other people were ahead of him and doing well. And I have to say, I thought the last 2 games, AFC and Portsmouth, he did really, really well, and he was really cut up about going. To be fair, he was he really enjoyed his time here. He felt he could learn, progress. He wanted to obviously see it through and have an impact. And again, it's another one that we're not closing the door on that one. Definitely, he's someone that if it comes up where we can do something is right, then it's something that we'll look into.
And just finally, Josh, it never really kicked off for Josh at MK Dons. His opportunities were limited, and he's going to get some football now potentially.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. I don't like to stereotype with first loans or anything like that, but sometimes you get it. I think where it takes a while for players to adapt, and transition into a new club, League One, adapt into what's being asked of you because it's different to your parent club, etc. So I think he might not have got the minutes that he wanted, but I have to say I think the loan will have been hugely beneficial for Josh for so many other reasons. So he goes with our best wishes, and I think he obviously played the other night for Doncaster, so we wish him the best for the future ultimately.
Yeah, could be playing on the weekend as well, couldn't he?
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah. we don't like that when that happens, when players come back. We don't like that. Connor, just on those players that are left before we talk about Connor, because that's a really positive story. When there's a huge transition in a short space of time like there is at the moment with the players that have moved on, obviously there are negatives. There's a period of trying to sort things out, but there's also an opportunity, and Louis just mentioned it there. There's an opportunity for those players that are in those positions, or players who wanted to play in those positions. They now can step up. They have the opportunity to say, right, I'm going to stake my claim for that role.
No, definitely. It's one I reinforced, I think, to the group this week. I think, especially in January, there's so much noise, ins and outs. What you mustn't ever do, and we won't do here, is overlook the group that we've got, because we have got a terrific group of characters, a terrific group of people, and we've got some really top players as well. And I think that, like you said, I think somebody moves on, it opens the door for somebody else, and I hope someone grasps that opportunity tomorrow, steps up, shows what they can do, and then that's the game, that's the industry that we work in. You have to be ready to grab them moments, when they arise. So it's one that we've said to the lads, continuously this week, and all our, a lot of the support staff, all their energy's gone into the players that we've got here. Obviously, myself and Liam are doing a huge amount of work behind the scenes, but it's really important that we keep the guys focused, we keep them on track, and that we get ready to play tomorrow and perform tomorrow, because we're on a good run and we want to keep it going.
Tell us a bit about Connor then. What can we expect from Connor, and positionally, what kind of player is he going to be for MK Dons?
He's a 6'8". He again, obviously, I go back a long way with Connor at West Ham. I've known him a long time. I think first and foremost, I speak a lot around the person, the character, and he's an outstanding professional when we talk around how he trains, his extras, how he applies himself. From that point of view, and then he's an all-round midfielder. To be fair, I think I look at him this year a little bit. He's someone I've tracked. He's started to add a few goals to his games, and I think he'll bite. He's got a level of aggression to him as well, which is also important, I think, in this league and for us. And then he's got quality on the ball. And I think if obviously I followed him pre-season when he was at West Ham and he was doing well for them pre-season. Might not quite have gone how he wanted at Peterborough, but again, I think he's someone that's really going to help elevate us and move, progress us. So I'm really excited to see him, and hopefully he grabs the opportunity as well.
And you've already mentioned with the transfers that there's you're leaving the door open, I think was the expression, which is great for the likes of Peter Kyoso and Ethan Robson. But there's other work going on behind the scenes, and the transfer window's still very much open. Presumably, you will need to bring another couple of players into the club.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's the difficulty. We're obviously at 4 loans at the minute, so we have 1 loan spot available. You can obviously only select 5 on a match day, so we've got 1 more loan spot available. I think that's why it takes a little bit longer. When Fish goes, Jamie can come in straight away because it's loan for loan. I think that the difficulty is when Matt goes out, for example, or a couple of loans go back. We're then looking at permanence, and I think even more reason to not rush and panic in the short term, and make sure that if we're doing somebody on a permanent, it's actually for the good of the club, not just in the next 2 games, but for the longer term. So I'm expecting a busy week next week. We definitely need to add players to it. And we will do. Again, I can't speak highly enough the chairman's support on that front in terms of what he's saying we can try and do. So it's then a case of myself and Liam pushing hard to try and get the deals over the line. But I think what I don't want to overlook is the importance and the quality that we have still got in the group. I think that a lot of noise can be on the transfers, but obviously I know the team I'm picking tomorrow, and I'm excited to see them.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but MK Dons were playing some pretty good football when they went up to Doncaster last time they played Doncaster, and it was one of those. It's Doncaster, they're struggling in League One. It'll be an easy game, and the run continues, and they put pay to that. They may not be in the highest league position. They may be struggling in League One this season, but they're still a dangerous side, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was it's quite a key moment for us and for me, I think, as a group. Earlier in the year, I remember talking to the guys around the importance of, I think they just lost 6-0 to Ipswich, and we'd said, look, expect them to come out, expect the noise, the conditions were wet and difficult, like we have to get through the first 10-15 minutes to then impose ourselves on the game, so expect them to come out, and we were 1-0 down after 7 minutes. Obviously the lads listened well. So no, definitely I watched them. I went to the game the other night. I watched them against Cambridge, and arguably they could have been ahead by 2 or 3 at half time. I thought they actually created the better chances. A lot of new additions, which naturally gives you a bounce and a lift. So we know it'll be a difficult game. It's not about looking at league positions, as we've spoken a lot here around transfers. New players coming in, points to prove. Changing manager not so long ago. There's lots of things where it actually makes them extremely dangerous. So we have to, like we did last week at Portsmouth, we have to be prepared to go in and be difficult to beat and to fight and to scrap and to earn the right to then go and impose ourselves with the ball.
And just finally for me, any time frame on David Kasumu?
No, it's a little bit of a longer one. We're not expecting him back anytime soon, so I don't want to commit to numbers or anything like that. But he's going to be a little while, unfortunately.
Okay, thanks, Liam. Appreciate it.
No problem.
You mentioned it could be a busy week next week. How many is it that you think you need to add to your squad now?
I think we're looking around the 3-4 mark. I think in terms of possibly plus a loan. So I think again we obviously have to have depth to be able to churn out the number of games that we've had, and I've spoken a lot around rotating people and keeping people in the team when they're able to hit their optimal level. So they're like I said, I'm expecting a busy week ahead. That's for sure. In that we do need to add 3, 4, 5 bodies.
Is it now to an extent? I mean, because you came in so late in the last window, you're only able to bring in, I think, one player in Peter Kioso on loan. Is it now starting to bring in players for a squad that you see, rather than having the remnants of Russell Martin's team? It's now starting to bring in players who you see fit to play the style of for MK Dons that you see.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think that's really important to stress. I think there was a lot of talk in the summer when I did come in around the structure, the change in structure here with the sporting director and head coach, and I think that's really, really important. Everybody recognises that we're all working for the best interests of the club in the long term. Hence, it's not me going out and getting the players I want and just picking for me. I think that's really important to stress. It's a real alignment between me and Liam Sweeting in terms of how we see the team play and the type of players we need. We're obviously in constant dialogue every day. We're in and out of each other's offices constantly to discuss players and who's a good fit. I think Theo's a good example probably of a slightly new direction where we've got a dribbler and an attacker and a 1v1 type player. So I think it's that if you're looking at it is maybe a slight transition and adaptation to what we had in the summer to now. And I think like I said, we're very aligned. Hence, going through the interview process when I got the job, I think you have to be. There's no point me wanting to go one direction and Liam the other. It doesn't make any sense. So we're closely aligned. We're very much clear in who the targets are. And now it's about can we get some deals over the line?
Are there ever arguments amongst the pair of you about who fits in, who doesn't?
No, not arguments. I think it's important that we challenge each other. I think that in terms of you don't want people to just agree and be comfortable all the time. We have to stretch and challenge to make sure we do get the right people. So I think it's not. I want to stress on that as well. It's not just me and Liam that do the recruitment. I think all of the staff to a certain extent. Chris Hogg, David Wright, Lewis Price have all played a real key part in terms of who's going to come in. So again, I think it's very much a collaboration to make sure we get the right players rather than just leaving it to one person. I think it's a really important process that the club should go through to make sure that it's definitely set up for the long term.
One player who's had his name touted about around certainly some of the social media circles, Dawson Devoy, a young lad from Ireland. Any truth to rumours about you imminently signing him?
I think for me, Toby, I think it's really important. I've spoken a lot about it this window in terms of not speculating on other people's players, and I think for me it's really important to operate with a level of integrity and respect. And he's attached to a club, so for me at the minute it's not right to comment or to commit one way or the other.
And finally, will we be expecting anybody new for tomorrow's game, do you think?
I'm hoping so. We're very close to getting somebody done this afternoon. So hopefully there'll be a new addition to the squad tomorrow, but again, can't confirm anything at the minute in case it doesn't come off. So we're very close. So hopefully everybody will see a new name tomorrow.